Well, good morning. Happy Thursday to everyone. I hope you're going to have a great day today. Today, we're going to talk about the Norpol Corel NPR1. That's there's an also is there also is an NPRF. Okay. And then that's the refrigerator. So the NPRF is a refrigerator, is a freezer. So, on the second and third slide, we're probably going to. I'll show you a listing, and it shows the NPR1 and the NPRF. Um, our my cohort is not with me. Nick from Magic Chef is on vacation. He did send a video. We're going to include that video that he sent me, and it is on the controller, and that's what we're going to focus on. We're going to focus on the controller because that is what most people seem to have the most issues with. This controller is a very simple controller. If you've done anything with Norpol, there are two different controllers out there, and so we're going to go ahead and get started a little bit. Okay, so here are the specifications. I told you that there are two different series. There's an NPR, NP1R, and then there's an NP1F. Okay. So the NPR1, both of these are 115 volts, 60 hertz. Okay. The refrigerator is 22.95 cubic foot. The freezer is exactly the same. Okay. The refrigerator temperature is somewhere between 32 degrees Fahrenheit and 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay. The thing about that is those always, if you put it down to 32, you're going to freeze food. Everybody knows that. 32 is the transitional state where the unit the product either freezes or thaws. If it's at 32 degrees and you're wanting it to stay frozen, it won't do that because it will naturally defrost. Okay. The Fahrenheit on the other one is minus, I think it's minus 6.2 to minus 4. You got to go do the calculations of minus 22 degrees Celsius. Oh, for some reason I got Andy's thing. Okay, so today is that's that calculation you'll have to go out and do yourself. Give me just a second. I've got to change the banner. I don't know why it decided it wanted to do that because that's not them. Okay, so this is me. This is my phone number, my email address. If you have any questions, you just let me know. Okay? I don't know where all of this came from, but for some reason it's swapped over, is what it says right here. So I have no idea what just happened. Maybe a glitch in their system. So we're going to continue on. Like I said, this is the NP1R, which is the refrigerator that we're going to deal with. Okay, so if you look right here, this actually shows that the the width and the depth for it. It also will show you the height. Okay. And then it shows you here that the compressor is located in the bottom. I really like it that it's located in the bottom. I have worked on commercial units. It is such a pain in the neck to have to worry about it tipping over whenever we're installing it, whenever you're pulling it out or pushing it in. This unit comes with casters, which is great, which is another great reason for it to have a bottom-mounted compressor and condenser assembly. You'll have to pardon that. Okay, so moving along, some of the standard features. I'm going to have to actually come out of my mode because for some reason it is not working properly. Okay, so the standard features of the North Pole reach-in refrigerator or freezer. Once again, like I said, it has a bottom-mounted compressor. It has a heavy-duty compressor, and it's mounted in the bottom for easy cleaning and maintenance. The condensing coil is also down there, so it's a whole lot easier than having to get your step ladder because you can't really see well if it's on the very top and it's at that 70-inch mark. Okay. Self-closing door system and an auto stop. So the door will only open. It will only open as you pull it open. It'll only open halfway. It won't open the full all the way around. And that's the auto stop area. Okay, so the door closes. It closes automatically, which is really good. This one does have, if I push it all the way over, it will lock into place. Okay, and that door will stay open. So you have to be very careful of that. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm looking over here at the I don't know what in the world has happened with the site because it's showing me a GE Smart HQ bundle. I have no idea. So anyway, I'm going to keep going. I don't know what happened, but evidently there is an issue with StreamYard. But just so you know, I hope that everybody can see the comments. Okay. If you look right there, there's a GE Smart HQ device and a 6-month subscription. The bundle part number is SPSB10P018. That is a great value. Okay. I probably will order one to have for myself. But I had a technician text me, and I had another one that called me asking about the part number. Well, there's one for a bundle. That's one of the things that Encompass does for you is we try to bundle things up and make it nice and neat for the technician. So we love the technician and working with the technician, and we do everything we can to do that. So that's that bundle price. So if you're interested in that, write that number down, call your rep at Encompass, and go ahead and order it. Going back to what we were doing, it has adjustable interior shelves. You can adjust that. It has almost infinite number of adjustments. That's one thing that I really like about it. That's another thing that I like about it. Okay. It does have a digital temperature controller. That's what we're going to spend most of our time on today. So that is a microelectric control that adjusts to the desired temperature, which is displayed with an LCD display. So that is a liquid crystal display. And if it's a refrigerator, you can see right there. Oh, look, there's exactly what I was looking for. So the refrigerator you can set between 32 and 50 degrees Fahrenheit. The freezer you can set to -4, -7.6 to -4. Okay. -0.4. I'm sorry. So actually, so you're looking at, it'll go between 7.6 and 0. So that's where you want to have it anyway if it's in a freezer section. Okay. It has a stainless steel construction that's both on the exterior and the interior. Excuse me. It helps it being able to clean the unit. So once again, if I'm gonna clean it, I'm probably gonna unplug it, and then I'm gonna let it come to a little bit of temperature. So I'm gonna need to take everything out of the unit. Doesn't matter if it's a freezer or refrigerator. Still need to take everything out of the unit, and then if I'm cleaning it. It has a versatile center, so it's a I'm sorry, my eyes are old and I can't see that. So it's pre-installed casters allow for an easy setup and a mobility for floor cleaning. Additional caster lock function ensures that the placement and stability and preventing damage caused from moving. So they're still going to have to be careful. You can't just whip this thing around. Otherwise, I spill everything that's inside. Okay. It has a door lock. So it's just for security. I don't know if I've said it before, but I used to work for the school system, and we had door locks on all of our stuff, and in the kitchens, and that just kept people from coming in and grabbing a drink or something that they decided they wanted to get that they didn't get at lunchtime, and so it just locks it down. So that's another good feature for it. The interior lighting, it is incandescent light. I talked to Nick, and if my understanding is correct with Nick, they are working on a LED to upgrade the incandescent. That isn't that is my understanding is right now that has not rolled out totally, but they're working on that. So that would be great because I actually prefer an LED over an incandescent light. So an incandescent light usually is a light bulb. Okay. It has a removable door gasket. That's great. I can do several things now with this removable door gasket. It makes it easier for me to clean the unit. Not only is it easier for me to clean, but if need be, I can actually take the door gasket, put it in a tub of hot water, and I can reform the gasket if I need to. Okay, so cabinet location. This is the one thing that I always try to put into my presentations. Okay, these are the guidelines for the cabinet location. Okay, install the unit on a strong and level surface. Okay, it may not make unpleasant noises if the surface is uneven. The unit may malfunction if the surface is uneven. The other problem is if it is not on a strong surface, the product is going to end up leaning one way or the other, and we all know the difficulty if it's going to lean. It brings on a whole lot more issues. So install the unit in an indoor, well ventilated area. This is not made to be outside. I can tell you that my refrigerator. I live in about 4 blocks from the beach. I try to run I try to not run my air conditioner at all. I try to use the ocean breeze, and I have a stainless steel Frigidaire, and the doors have rusted, and I'm going to end up having to replace the doors or sand them and go back with some barkeeper's friend and take that and redo that. So you want same thing here. You want to make sure that it's inside. Okay, it performs more efficiently in a well-ventilated area. For the best performance, maintain a clearance of 4 inches on the back of the unit. Okay. Outdoor may cause decreased efficiency and damage to the unit. I will tell you that I had a customer that used to have a freezer on the back. A possum got into it, chewed through the wires on a cold night, and electrocuted himself. And then the customer called wanting to know why in the world his freezer quit. Well, we got out there. I found that, and of course, the customer then had no more issues because I told her, "Hey, this is not designed to be outside, just like this one." So there are other things that will happen if it's outside. Okay. Avoid installation in a high humidity or dusty area. Well, most of the humidity, it can cause the unit to rust and decrease the efficiency of the unit. If it's 100 degrees outside and I've got my doors open and my windows open at my house, the humidity is at about 90%, and it can cause it to rust, which is what it's showing right here. Dust collected on the condenser will cause the unit to malfunction. Clean the condenser at least once a month with a brush or a clean cloth. So these are the guidelines that are given to the whoever the recipient of this unit is. So it tells them that they need to clean this at least once a month. Well, they need to brush it, or they need to use a clean cloth. Well, here's the problem. If I'm brushing it left to right instead of up and down, I'm bending the fins. So now I have to have my fin brush. So you got to be very careful. You're hoping that the customer really doesn't adhere to this, because they'll just get in there and mess it up. And then you always make sure with my tool pouch, I have a fin brush that I keep in my tool pouch. Okay. I'm going to select a location away from the heat or moisture generating equipment. I'm going to tell you that I have walked into this and they have put this right next to a fryer. You can't have it next to a fryer because of the heat. Not only the heat, but the oil gets into the air, and now it sucks it right into the compressor area and you end up with a nasty, ugly mess. So you have to move it. It can't be around there. High ambient temperatures will cause the compressor to overwork, leading to higher energy bills and gradual breakdown of the unit. Nice way to saying that that it's going to cause the compressor to fail. Okay. This unit requires regular maintenance. Okay. I'm going to avoid installation in high humidity or dusty areas. Did that just there? Okay. If I'm going to do anything to this unit, please disconnect the power. I don't want you to get that shock. Although this unit is 110 volts. They make a 220 volt unit. That's a double. And guess what? If I pop that and I have water around me, I'm in trouble. So just always unplug or disconnect the power to the unit. Okay. If I'm going to clean the fan blades, I'm going to do, if I'm going to do that, or the motor, I'm going to do that with a soft cloth. Um, if it's necessary to wash the fan blades, cover the fan motor to prevent moisture damage. That just goes without saying. On any of these, many of these mini units do not have the ability. If I'm spraying water on it, it'll get into the fan motor and it will cause an issue. So just make sure that I'm gonna cover that fan motor so that it doesn't cause any issues. Okay. Cleaning the condenser coils. For efficient operation, it's important that the condenser surface be kept free of dust and dirt and lint. They recommend the cleaning the condenser coil and fins at least once a month. Once again, this is information that goes to the the customer. So it tells them like 3 times that they need to clean it once a month. That's probably never going to happen. So how do I clean it? I clean it with a condenser, commercial condenser coil cleaner, available at any equipment retailer. So you can buy this at Encompass. It's coil cleaner. It's right here. Is your 32-ounce bottle of that. Okay. Whenever I was a technician, I took it and put it in a 16-ounce bottle that had a sprayer on it, and that's the way that I did it. And then I also had a true coil cleaner that foamed. You can use that, but that's how you get rid of that. After I do all of that, I'm going to make sure that I get all the way through. I'm going to shine a light in the back of that and looking at the condensing coil, making sure that I can see light all the way through it, especially if it's near something that produces moisture or high temps, like the fryer. So I'm gonna do all that. Once I get done, after I do that, I've got to clean it. If I've got anything that's bent on these coils, I'm going to have to use a thin comb and use that to keep it from damage. Okay. Interior of the unit. When cleaning the interior cabinet, I'm going to use solvent of warm water and mild soap. My personal favorite is Dawn. I figure if it's gentle enough to use on a duck, I can probably use it on the interior of a unit. Don't use steel wool, any kind of caustic soap, abrasive cleaners, or bleach that may damage the stainless steel surface. If I use I have seen somebody that tried to use 100% bleach. They didn't even cut it. It will damage the unit. You're going to wash the door gaskets on a regular basis, preferably weekly. That'll never happen. I'll tell you that right now. And then you just simply remove the door gasket from the frame of the inner door, soak it in warm water and soap for about 30 minutes. Then I can dry it with a soft cloth and replace it. Check the door gasket for the proper seal after they're replaced. It actually will help if you have any issues with it sealing. If I've used warm water, I've got it. So then I'm going to periodically remove the shelves from the unit and clean them with mild soap and water. Remove the pilsters, remove the shelves and the shelf brackets, then simply lift the pilster up and out. So then I can totally get in there, clean it. I can take and put the pilster and the shelves in a sink and clean that with warm soap, with warm soapy water. That helps get rid of that. Okay. So troubleshooting. So we have let's go by and we're going to start and we're going to go through this. So if I come in and the compressor's not running, of course, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to either look for a blown fuse or the circuit breaker being tripped. Okay. I don't know many people that I find have a blown fuse anymore. It's usually it's the circuit breaker that's tripped. Okay. One of the other things I'm going to check is to make sure that the power cord is plugged in correctly. I'm going to measure the voltage to the power cord to make sure that it's right. One of the other things that it can be is that thermostat is set too high. So if I find that out, I'm going to have to set the thermostat to a lower temperature. Then could be that the cabinet is in the defrost cycle. So I'm going to have to either wait for it to finish, or I'm going to tell the customer that, hey, this unit's in a defrost cycle. That's what your problem is. Condensing unit runs for long periods of time. Okay, it could be that there's an excessive amount of warm product that has been put in this product cabinet. At the school system, we got them understanding that whenever they got the truck in on that and they open that door, it takes it a while because when they unload it off the truck, they have it sits outside, then they bring it in, then they put it in, and then of course it takes it a while for it to drop the temperature. Okay. One of the other problems that can happen is that it has the door has been open for too long of a period, or that somebody has gone in and left the door ajar. Like I said, this unit has a locking feature at the back, and that's a good thing. But if somebody just leaves it open, of course, all that cool air is coming right out. So you just ensure the doors are closed whenever they're not in use, and avoid opening the door for long periods of time. And then the other thing that it could be is the door gasket's not sealing properly. So you're going to have to go. I don't know what you use to check the door gasket for sealing. What I use is a nice $1 bill. I open the door, stick my bill halfway through, close that door, and try to pull that dollar bill out. If I have resistance, I know that it's sealing. If it just slides right out, I'm gonna need to adjust the gasket. Okay. So could be a dirty condenser coil. Of course, I've got to if that's the case, I'm going to need to clean the condenser coil and the fins and make sure that I get all of that done. We kind of went through all of that. Or it could be that the evaporator coil is iced over. Okay. If that's it, then I'm going to have to do one of two things. I can unplug the unit, and allow the coil to defrost. One of the other things that I can do is I can go out to the truck and I can get my steamer. I'm going to have to take the food out. Then I can use my steamer to steam all the coils clean. Of course, you have to have the unit unplugged. And then make sure that the thermostat is not set too cold. That causes this. So ensure that the door gaskets are sealing properly. That's one of the other things. Okay. So if something happens in the cabinet, temperature is too warm. How am I going to do this? I'm going to check the thermostat, make sure that it's not set too warm. If it is, I'm going to turn it down. Okay. Then we've got something that's blocking the airflow. Could be my problem. I tell the story about the way that I met my second wife. Was they kept blocking the airflow, and I finally I could never figure it out. And then whenever I got there, I just showed up one time without an announcement telling them I was going to be there. And they had all these boxes blocking the airflow. So I had to bring her in here and say, if you do this, this is what it causes. So it's gonna cost you if I have to come by. So I can rearrange the product to allow for the proper airflow. Make sure that there are at least 4 inches of clearance from the evaporator and the condenser and coil. Then excessive amount of warm product has been placed in the cabinet. That could be my problem. Then of course you just have to allow for the unit to cool down. Could be the diffuser, the fuse of the circuit breaker is tripped. So I'm going to need to either replace the fuse of the circuit breaker or check the circuit breaker and untrip it. It could be that the condensing coil is dirty. That's the case. Of course, you just need to clean the condensing coil. If I have prolonged door openings or the door is ajar all the time, that's going to be my problem. And I'm going to have to just tell the people that they have to allow time for it to recool back down. Okay. The cabinet is noisy. I'm sorry, I skipped one. The evaporator coil is all iced over. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to go in and I'm going to see what the coil, what it's set at. I'm going to, if it's set too low, then I'm have to raise the temperature a little bit. I need to find out if, once again, that nobody has they haven't loaded it up. I have to make sure that somebody hadn't been in it all the time. And the bad thing is there is no board to tell me how many times that door has opened. That would be a great thing, would be, hey, my door has been open. My door is open, for 30 times this time. And the average temperature, the average length of time that it was open was 2 minutes. That tells me right there that the problem is. So I told that to Nick, and he took that up, ran that up the flagpole. We'll see where it gets. So cabinet too noisy. I did go out on one where they had this. 2 of the legs were over a drain, and that actually was causing the noise. But if I have a loose part, I need to locate and tighten that loose part. Usually it's a line that's vibrating. It could be the tubing vibration. So I may need to adjust that to make sure that it's working properly. So that is 2 of the things right there. Okay. We're going to go look at this video. Okay. I have this video pulled up. I'm going to give you just a minute for you to type this in. And this will actually show everything that we're going to talk through next. Okay, let me go ahead and move all of this over. And go boom, and go boom.
Hi, I'm Nick with Norpol. Today we'll go ahead and discuss how to properly program your Corel PZGX refrigerator controller. Let's get started. Before we get into the parameters on this unit, let's go over some basic settings on the controller. This controller will allow you to turn off the cooling system. In order to turn the cooling system off and turn the controller off, you would go ahead and press and hold down the up arrow for 3 seconds. Once you do that, you'll see the word off and a temperature flash, which is just disabling the cooling system. In order to get the cooling system back on, go ahead and simply repeat that operation. Press and hold down the up arrow for 3 seconds. Then you'll see the temperature stay solid. Once the temperature remains solid, you know that the controller is back on. Now we could go ahead and get into setting the temperature. In order to set the temperature, you want to go ahead and press and hold down the set button for 3 seconds. You'll see the temperature flash. You can use the up or the down arrow to raise or lower the temperature. Once you get to the desired temp, go ahead and press set. Now we can get into accessing the parameters. In order to access the parameter, go ahead and press and hold down the set button until you see P5. Once you see P5, go ahead and press set. You'll then see 0. The password on our refrigerator controllers is 22. Go ahead and use the up arrow until you get to the number 22, and then press set to save that. Now we have access to the parameters. Use the down arrow to scroll through the parameters. The first parameter you'll see is F3. The F3 indicates the fan mode during a defrost. The factory setting is 1. If you want the fans to run during a defrost cycle, set that parameter to 0. The next parameter you'll see is F2. F2 will allow the fan to stop when the compressor stops. The factory setting is 1, and if you want the fans to run when the compressor is off, you can go ahead and put that parameter down to 0. The next setting we'll see is F0. F0 is the fan operating function, which controls all of the F parameters, or all of the fan parameters. The factory setting on this parameter should be 0. The next one you'll see is D6. D6 will allow you to disable the temperature during a defrost. The factory setting is 1. The next parameter you'll see is DP. DP is the setting to control the defrost duration, which means how long the unit will go into a defrost cycle. The factory setting is 20, meaning 20-minute defrosts. The next one we'll see is DT. DT is the defrost termination temperature, meaning once the temperature sensor reaches a certain temperature, it will come out of a defrost. If the unit reaches this temperature before the 20-minute defrost cycle is over, it will force the unit out of a defrost. The factory setting is 46 degrees. The next parameter you'll see is DI. DI is the defrost interval time. The factory setting is 6. This means that the unit is set to go into a defrost every 6 hours. So if DP1 is set to 20 and DT is set to 6, it's going to go into a 20-minute defrost every 6 hours. Adjusting this parameter might result in freeze-ups near the evaporator. The next parameter we'll see is C0. C0 is the compressor delay. The factory setting is 2, meaning once you start the unit, the compressor will not turn on for 2 minutes. This will help protect the electrical components of the compressor. The next one we'll see is R2. R2 is the high limit. The high limit is the highest temperature you could set this unit to. The factory setting is 43, which means you will not be able to set this temperature higher than 43 unless this parameter is adjusted. The next one we'll see is R1. R1 is the low limit, which is the lowest you'd be able to set the temperature to. The factory setting is 33 degrees. The next one we'll see is RD. RD is the differential. The differential is the temperature swing in the unit, meaning if the unit is set to 37 degrees, the compressor will not come back on until the display reaches 44 degrees. The factory setting is 7. You could adjust this parameter lower, but that will result in the unit cycling more. If you scroll down, you'll see C2. C2 is the evaporator offset. This setting is normally set to 0, meaning once the unit passes the set point, the unit will come back on immediately and the evaporator will start getting cold again. This parameter is used to measure the temperature of the probe. The next parameter you'll see is /5. /5 is the Fahrenheit or Celsius display. Factory setting is 1 for Fahrenheit. If you want the unit to read in Celsius, you would set this parameter to 0. After that, we'll go back to P5, which means we cycled through all of the parameters. In order to save these parameters, go ahead and press and hold down the set button until you show the temperature again. Once you show the temperature again, everything has been saved. One more thing to note is that you could force the unit in and out of a defrost. If you noticed any frost or ice building up near the evaporator fans, and that could be caused by leaving the door open, you can force the unit into a defrost. In order to do that, go ahead and press and hold down the bottom arrow for 3 seconds. You'll see DEF displayed on the screen, and then you'll have a little defrost icon. You could also force the unit out of a defrost. In order to force it out of a defrost, go ahead and repeat that same operation. Thank you for watching our video on the Norpol PZGX refrigerator controller. If you would like to order parts for any of the Norpol or Magic Chef products, you can visit our website at www.mcappliance.com and click on the support tab at the top that has a drop down for parts. You could also contact us at 888-775-0202. Any of our representatives will be happy to help. Thank you.
Okay. Let's stop that video. Okay. So, does anybody have any questions? We're going to do a more in-depth dive onto this because Nick did a really good job. Oh, and that's what I was telling you. He couldn't be with us today, so he gave us a video, which I appreciate. So does anybody have any questions? Let's see, we only have 2 people left, but hopefully if you've got any questions, please feel free to type them in to the bottom right side where it says post a comment. Then, of course, you have to hit the arrow that will display the comment. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Okay. So I can send you this copy if you would like it. What you're going to need to do if you want it is to reach out by text and send me a text saying, I was in your Norpol class. I would like a copy of the controller table. And there you see my phone number is 386-341-2573. And I will send you this as we go through. Okay. If you want to, you can also send me an email at mitchwilliams62@yahoo.com. Okay. This is for the controller. If you look, there's 2 pages to this. So that will help. This will help you if you run up on a Norpol and you wanted information on that. Okay. Now let's go back to where we were. Does anybody have any questions on that? Like I said, you either text me at that phone number or send me an email, and I am more than happy to send you that program or that little leaflet. Okay, I got with Magic Chef, and they sent it to me so that I could give it to you. Okay, so let's see if it keeps jumping around. Okay, the Norpol refrigerator product manufactured in the last 5 years. They have two variations of the Corel Easy controller, the PJEZ and the PYGX or the PZGX. The one that I had was a PZGX. Okay, they look identical from the outside. The difference is the PJEZ, they use removable connectors on the wiring harness, and then the PYGX and the PZGX are wired directly. So I'm going to have to literally remove those and put the go back to the board and disconnect them all off of the board. So it's a whole lot harder. The nice thing about the PJEZ, it actually, I can just unplug it and be done with it. Okay, the user interface is the same on any of them. You have the same the number at the PYGX and the PZGX adds a number of features, the fan control and the display control while in defrost. The details can be found on the following pages that we're going to go through, along with the default settings. So it's the easiest way to identify the correct controller will be by accessing the parameters. If the F parameters or the /3 parameter is on the settings, the controller is a PYGX or a PZGX. Okay, so that's how you tell. So the display, what does it tell me? Right, if you look at this, it tells me that the compressor's on the far left side. Okay, it also tells me that the fan is activated. So this one, while the fan is running, when the compressor's on, the fan's on. Okay, if I use the on off button there, I hold it and it turns it on. Hold it, turns it off. If I look down there, there's the red one that's on the far right side. That's the hold. To display change the set point. That's for 1 second. If I hold it for 3 seconds, it gives me access to the parameters. If I just push it again, it mutes any audible sound if I do a quick press on it. Okay. Then if you look on the very bottom right there, we have to hold, if we're doing the whole 3 seconds, you can enter the defrost manually. Okay, so if the icons are blinking, the controller is calling for activation, but a delay in keeping this activation off for a period of set time. The minimum compressor off time is, and it depends on what you have it set on, X number of minutes as a compressor protector. You know, it's the same way with many of the ice machines out there. They have a 3 to 5 second delay. And that keeps the unit from just dumping everything on, and it causes a huge overload of the amperage. Okay, viewing and changing the set points. I can hold that red set button on the far right side for 1 second. That views the current set point. That tells me what temperature is at. I press up and down arrow to change the value and press the set again to store the value. So if I'm going to change, if I find that if you see this one is 16.5, that tells me right there that that's in Celsius, not in Fahrenheit. So I am going to I can go out and change it and change that from Fahrenheit, from Celsius to Fahrenheit. That will give me the Fahrenheit temperature. Excuse me. Then that's once I do all that. But changing the set point, I just move that with the up and down, and that will either I want to increase that temperature or decrease it by pressing the up and down. Okay. Common alarms that will alternate with the temperature on the display. If I get an E0, it's got a probe error. Okay, that's my control probe. So I'm going to have to go and check my control probe. The first thing that I'm going to check is to see if it's unplugged. The next thing I can check is I can do a continuity check and see if that probe is any good. If the probe comes back at infinite, I know that I have an issue. If I have an E1, that's the probe tube error, and that's the defrost probe. The ones that I've seen, the probe, the E1 is the one that goes out the first, and that's the defrost probe. If we have an LO, that's a low temperature alarm. That means that it's gotten lower than it should have. If I have a high, that tells me that I have a high temperature alarm. And once again, I'm going to have to check those probes. So I usually will get an E0 followed by an LO or an HI. Okay. If the controller is cooling below the set point, the first thing I'm going to do is check to see if the compressor icon is blinking. If it's blinking, hold both the up and the down arrow for 3 seconds. That deactivates the continuous cycle cooling. If that icon is not lit, then of course the relay to the control or the external contactor could be stuck closed. So I'll need to own that out and check that. Once again, the first thing I'm going to do, if I need to do that, before I pull my meter out, I'm going to make sure that I pull it out and ohm everything out. Okay. Accessing the parameters. Once again, we kind of went through this. I'm going to hold the set point down for 3 seconds until you see a PS. Okay. Then press the set again, followed by the up arrow until you get to 22. Okay. Now I've entered the into the parameter list. Then I'm going to press up to toggle through. Excuse me. To toggle through the various parameters. To set, I'm going to hit to set / enter. Enter/exit the parameters, and final hold the set for 5 seconds to store any of the changes that I make. Okay. Here are some of the common parameters. RD is the control differential. Okay. Standard is the ST is cut out. The ST plus is the cut in. Once I go scrolling through, my /5 tells me 0 is, if it comes up 0, it tells me it's in Celsius, which is what hours would have done on the one that I just showed you previously. If it's in a 1, it should be in Fahrenheit. Okay. If I have a DL, that's my defrost interval. Okay. In hours. Okay. So if DL is 6, the unit will defrost every 6 hours, and that would make it 4 times a day. We all know that there's 24 hours in a day. Okay. If we have a DT, that is my end defrost temperature. So if my temperature rises, and like we said, it was above 40, it's set for 0. It's above 40. That determines my defrost cycle. Okay. My DP is my defrost duration. Okay. And that's in minutes. So my DL is the defrost interval in hours. Okay. And then my DP is my defrost interval in minutes. So that's how long the defrost is. Of course, the defrost interval, it tells me, if I think it comes factory set at 6. So that would be 4 times a day it would go into defrost. Okay. If I get an F3, that's telling me that my evaporator fan status during the defrost, that you don't get that on the EZ, on the PYGX, you get a 0. F3 0 is the fan on during defrost. F3 is, if it has 1, it's telling me that the fan is off during the defrost. If I have an F2, that once again, that is just on the PYGZ or the PZGX. F2, 0, the fan operates according to the F0 when the compressor is on. If I get an F2 and -1, that tells me that the fan is off when the compressor is off. And then if I get an F2, the easy split only, that is the fan is managed in the cylindrical on-off mode. Okay. If I have once I get to the FO mode, okay, that enables the evaporator fan control. 0 is the fan is on all the time. F1, the fan is controlled based on a set point. And then I have to go back once again. I go to my parameters on F1. Okay. Now, if I have a D6, this is my freeze control temp. The D6 is whenever I'm on that controller and I scroll through. Okay. That gives me the temperature control, the freeze control temperature during the defrost. That tells me what temperature is inside the unit while it's in defrost. So 0, the message DF alternating with the temperature measured by the control probe. If I change it to a 1, that's the freeze on the display. Freeze on the display on the last temperature measured before the defrost. So I can either turn it to a 0 or a 1. Okay. Now if once I go through and I scroll, the next one is DP, my maximum defrost duration. The maximum duration of the defrost in minutes is 20. Okay. I can shorten it, so I can go in and change that if I want to. If I have a DT, that ends the defrost temperature set point, the temperature threshold with the temperature control. This parameter allows an evaporator temperature to be set in which the defrost stops. So if I've got the unit on the PZEZ, that is set to 43 degrees. If it's the PYGX or the PZGX, it's set to 46. So I can go in and adjust those temperatures also. Okay. Now my DL, once I scroll through, I get DL, my interval in between defrost. Both of those are set at 6 on it. Okay. So that's just how many hours it goes. So if I need to, I can shorten it to 4. I could lengthen it to 8. I just need to know what I need to do. Okay. If I have a DO, okay, DO is the defrost. What is it? On the PJEZ, it's set for 2. If I go to the PYGX or the GX, that's set for 2. What does that mean? The heater is on by time. If I turn it to 0, that tells me that I go by temperature. 1 is the hot gas by temperature. 2 is the heater by time. 3 is hot gas by time. 4 is the heater with the temperature control. So if I go down and I want to change this to number 3, okay, I'm gonna have to input what the time is also going to be. Well, if I go from 2, 3, or 4, I'm going to have to adjust the time as it needs to be. Okay. The last thing is the CO. Okay, that is the compressor and fan start delay on power up. Both of these are set at 2. So when the control is powered up, this delays the start of the compressor and the evaporator in minutes. So I get 2 minutes. It's set for a 2-minute delay. I can adjust that up. I don't adjust it down. I don't think you can. Okay. Control parameters. Once again, both of them are set at 43. Maximum set point value, and then the minimum set point value. The maximum set point is 43. The minimum set point is 33 on both of those controllers. The parameters are the minimum value, and R2 is the maximum value, and I can set the range of temperatures at that set point. Now, if I scroll through again, I get the RD control differential. They're both set at 7. They value added to the temperature set point. RD low values are more precise temperature control, more frequent cycle controls. RD high values, less precise temperature controls, and less frequent compressor cycles. So I have to be careful whenever I go and adjust the temperature on that, because my RD, it may throw mine off a little bit. Okay. My /CZ, that's the probe set point, the off set. And then if I have it on a 1, that's the offset. Those both are set at 0. So the parameters are used to correct the temperature, measuring by the probe to the offset the 10th of degree. The value assigned to these parameters, in fact, added to the temperature measured by the unit. So I can go in and I can adjust. Let's say that my board, my controller tells me that it is turning off at 4 for freezer, or 35 for an off parameter. So I could adjust that up so that it actually marries what it says on the display. Okay. The /5, once again, that's either Celsius or Fahrenheit. It comes with 1, which is Fahrenheit. But if I want it in Celsius, I can go back in, find the /5, and put a 0 in it. If I get an F3, that's the probe display rate. Okay. It's only valid for a PYGZ or a PZGX. That's set for a 0. That means it's disabled. 1 is a fast update through 15, and 1 through 15. Excuse me. 1 is a fast update, and 15 is a slow update. I can go from 1 to 15, so I can just go through those. My probe measure stability, it's all set at 1. Low values assigned allow the prompt to respond of the sensor to the temperature variation. The readings become more sensitive to the disturbance. Okay, it's set up for 1. I can go 0 or 1. Okay. So here we are again. What's in the display? If the display is flashing the temperature and off on the controller is turned, the unit's turned off. Okay. 2 minute delay. This is for you to remember. There's a 2 minute delay for it to start up, so it's not going to immediately start up. Okay. What symbols are on the flashing controller? The symbols that should be on are the compressor and the fan, the ones that are on the far left. Okay. Flashing symbols would mean that the controller is calling for cooling. What is the setup for? So the units are set for 37.6 degrees Fahrenheit as a default. If it's not set for 37.6 degrees, check your parameters. Press the set button to see what the unit is set at. That's on that far right side. And if I need to adjust it, of course, I have my up and down arrows that's right there next to the the on off. Okay. If the unit is not cooling properly, okay. Number one, I'm going to check the door seals. Okay. Is the unit making noise? These are all the flow charts for this. Okay. If the evaporator is frozen over or ice on the fan, if yes, check your defrost parameters. If no, make sure that the compressor is running, possibly a seal system or a bad compressor. Okay, we're going to get through a little bit farther down, and we're gonna hit all this. Okay, and it actually I touch on it down here at the very bottom. Okay, if the unit has a door switch, the fan could be manually run by holding the switch down. Okay, failed compressors. I'm going to ask if it's an R290. Ask for the part number. If not, ask for the part number. So all refrigerators March 17th and beyond should be R290 and use the PZGX controller. All refrigerators before March of 2007 should be the PJEZ controller. Okay. All the controllers have a wiring diagram on the back of the controller. All the freezers will ask the same question. The freezer will have a defrost heater and a pan heater line. These are so that the water has time to travel down to the drain. Okay, as you can see there on the top left, you can see the wiring diagram that comes with it. Okay, once again, here's that same thing. This is for the PJEZ, the normal operation. The control displays the value of the probe set perimeter /4, 1 ambient probe, 2-second probe is the default, 3 third probe. In addition to the display, the LED will indicate the activation and control function. We're going to go through table 1 there, and when the 3 buttons they can use to activate, deactivate some of the functions on table 2. Okay, so here's table 1. Display functions: compressor, normal operation, on, off. If it's on, the compressor should be on. If the fan's on, compressor should be on. If the defrost is turned on, it should have that interval change. Okay. The auxiliary input is on. If it's off, if I have an alarm, that should be on. The clock, the RTC filtered and enabled at least 1 time band set. If it's on the off, of course, it's all of them are off except the RTC. Okay. Here's the rest of that table. So setting the desired set point, okay, the desired temperature. Press set for 1 second. The set value will start flashing after a few seconds, after a few moments. Then after that, I'm going to increase or decrease the value using the up or down button, and then I'm going to press confirm for the new value. Okay. So this right here, if you look right here, this is the on off. More than 3 seconds to toggle it on off. The down defrost is 3 seconds. Start stop the defrost. So what I can do is hold that down button for defrost, and it will turn it in. It will automatically start the defrost. Press together the start and step continuous cycle. If I push both the up and the up and the down arrows, if I want to mute it, I can set the mute, and that 1 second is the display set point. More than 3 seconds, I access the parameter settings. Then the mute audible alarm buzzer. Okay. Press together the start parameter reset procedure for 1 second. And then if I want to, I can reset it, do it for the same thing. Okay. Switching the device on and off, we've been through that. Okay. Manual defrost. If I press the down for more than 3 seconds, the defrost starts. Only the temperature conditions are valid. So the only thing that will change that is if it reaches our set 43 degrees before it, and then that will stop the defrost. Continuous cycle. Press up or down together for more than 3 seconds. If I press the up and down. Okay. To access the frequent and the configuration parameters, once again, I'm going to press that set for 3 seconds. The display will show PS. To access the F and C parameter menu, press set. Enter the password of 22 by using the up and down button. And then once I get done, I press the set button. To access the Fahrenheit, the F parameter menu only, press set without entering the password, and that will automatically enter my F parameter. Scroll inside the parameter by using the up and down button to display the set values of the parameter. Press the set, then the up and down, and finally the set to confirm any of the changes. This is on the different controller. To exit the menu without saving the changes, just press the off one more time. Okay, here's the other digital controller. This is where they're talking about what it looks like. You can't tell it from being right at it. Once again, this is the little flow chart. Okay. The set point desired, press the set button for more than 1 second. Then increase or decrease the set point by using the up button or the down button, respectively, to reach that desired value. Press the set button again to confirm the new set button. Alarms with a manual reset. So I can press the program and the up button for more than 5 seconds. If I want to do a manual defrost as well as the automatic function, a manual defrost can be enabled if the temperature conditions allow by pressing the down button for more than 5 seconds. And that automatically puts me into a defrost. My continuous cycle, by pressing the up button and the down button simultaneously for more than 5 seconds, that enables the continuous cycle function. During the operation of the continuous cycle, the compressor continues to operate for a time, and then it stops when that CC time is reached. The minimum temperature envisaged is the minimum temperature alarm threshold. Okay, continuous cycle settings, CC in the parameter, continuous cycle duration. 0 is never active. If I go to the C6 parameter by pressing the alarm and the continuous cycle, CC is 0 is never. If it also avoids any display in the low temperature alarm after the continuous cycle. So I would definitely want to keep that on. They need to know, whoever is operating this unit needs to know that we got a low temperature alarm. Okay. Accessing the configuration parameter. This is the C type. I'm going to press the program and the setting buttons at the same time for 5 seconds. The display will show 00. That's my prompt for my password. Then I'm going to press the up button until I get to 22. If I overrun it like Nick did, I just press the down button and that will allow me to do it. Once I get 22 on it, I'm going to press the set button. The display will show the first modifiable parameter. Okay. Then I can access the configuration parameter. Hold the program button for more than 5 seconds. If there are any active alarms, first mute the buzzer. Then the display will show the first modifiable F parameter. After having the displayed parameter either C or F, okay, proceed to the following. Use the up button or the down button to scroll through the parameters until you reach the parameter that you want to modify. When scrolling the parameters, an icon will show on the display that represents the category of the parameter. I can alternately press the program button to display the menu that can be used to quick access the family of parameters that you want to modify. Scrolling the menu with the up and the down buttons allows the codes of the various categories of the parameter and then allow the corresponding icon to the display. Okay. Once I have reached that desired category, I'm going to press the set button. That goes directly to the first parameter chosen. At that stage, if I want to modify the parameters or return to the category menu, I just mash the program button. Okay. Then I just press set, and that saves all of everything that I've done to it. I can increase or decrease the buttons respectively. Then I can press the temperature save for the new value to return the display of the parameters. Then I'm going to repeat that operation from point 1 or point 2. If the parameters have a sub parameter, press the set button on the display for the first parameter. Then press the up or down button to display all of the sub parameters. Press the set button associated with the associated value. Then I can just increase or decrease that button by using the up or the down arrow respectively. Then I can press the set to temporarily save the new value, return the display of the subparameter. Then I can press program to return to this display of the parameter of the parent parameter. Okay. So if I'm going to save these, I'm going to, like I said, if I'm going to definitely have this and do this, I'm going to press the program button for more than 5 seconds, thus exiting the parameter setting. All modification to the parameters temporarily saved in the RAM and can be canceled, and normal operation resumed by not pressing any button for 60 seconds. So if I don't want to save it, I just don't do anything, and for 60 seconds it will revert back to the other setting. So here we go. This is the correct setting for your Corel controllers. This is the refrigerator and the freezer display. The /5 is 1 on both of them. The /C1 is 0. You can see them all right here. /2 is 0. ST is 33 on the refrigerator, -7 on the freezer. Once again, that's what it comes in at. That's what it should be set at. Our RD is 7 and 7 on both. R1 is 33 for the refrigerator, -10 for the freezer. R2 is 43. So you have a 10-degree swing there. And then we have a -10 and a 10 for the freezer section. That's the low limit and the high limit. Then for the C0, the compressor delay, they're both set at 2. Please don't change those. DL, they're both set at 3. That's the defrost interval time. Then a DT1, one is 43 for the refrigerator and 58 for the freezer, and that's the defrost temperature. Okay, so the refrigerator is set for 43. If I have a freezer, it's set for 48. I can also send you a copy of this if you will just let me know what it is that you would like. F0, it's not applicable for the refrigerator. It's set at 2 for the freezer. That's the fan operating. Then an F1, it's not applicable for the fridge. And for the freezer, it's set at F2. That's the fan starting temperature. So once this unit reaches 41 degrees, the fan will start. If it's below that, it's still going to start. If it goes above, that's going to be my problem. So F2, of course, the refrigerator is NA, and that's the stop when the compressor stops. It's set for 1 on the freezer. And then F3, same thing for refrigerator. It's not applicable. And then the freezer is the fan mode during the defrost cycle. Okay, that winds our class up today. I just wanted to mention Encompass. We want to be your parts people. Please come and buy your parts from Encompass. Here's the Easy Stock app. If you have anything or need an Easy Stock, please go to the class. Take an hour of your time out, and you will then really appreciate the Easy Stock app. Okay, if you want to go and view it, here's a YouTube video. So it's https://youtu.be/U5ZH, capital R, capital D, capital U, small UN, capital VI. That is the Encompass video that you can find on YouTube. Okay. Does anybody have any questions? Give you a minute to do that. See if you've got any questions. Okay. I appreciate your time. Only thing I'll ask is that you remain on for the next minute and a half. This kind of is a tutorial for Encompass. Thanks again, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Please be safe out there. I don't know about where you're at, but it's starting to rain a little bit here where I'm at. So go ahead and make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Once again, have a great day, and we'll see you next week.